r/Askreddit, where did your high school crush end up in life? He's a toothless meth addict that looks to be about 65 years old now. You can see him shambling up the sides of the roads around town. Probably homeless. Maybe he's taking part in Undercover Boss. Yeah, he is actually the CEO of a Fortune 500. Op messed up and lost a good one. She works in the building next to my work. See each other occasionally. She and I have gotten back together at least once during our 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I have had ** with the same woman in 4 different decades of my life. We agreed that if we are both still single, when we hit 50 we need a hookup to keep the streak going. Why not try to make it work? The curiosity is killing me. We tried pretty sincerely when we reconnected in our 30s. We are just very different people with very different views on family, love, money, all the important stuff, and even all of the little stuff. I always say, if I could wave a wand and have it magically work with a woman from my past, it would be her. Right, but at least you aren't ruining the fantasy this way. She's a university professor. She always was a smart bird. I know that, and mine is still gorgeous too. Brains and beauty, but she did have a slightly sadistic side. Sadistic side? Yes, you already mentioned university professor. You know you loved it. About 5 years after college I ran into her at a bar. I was my friends who knew some of her friends. I lived down Tear Street from her for like 15 years and always thought she was the most perfect girl in the world, but she was cool, and I was not. Well, at the bar she had no idea who the hell I was. Definitely was odd for me as I had worshipped her forever. Now I'm happily married to the love of my life, kids, so no harm done. I just found it odd that she had no idea I existed. It's interesting to think that all of the times you might have worried about what she thought of you or been anxious, etc. growing up, was for nothing. She didn't even see you. It's liberating and depressing simultaneously. Glad you found your person and are happy. She's like literally sitting right next to me on the couch. But for about 20 years, she wasn't. We crushed on each other in high school, but never said anything to each other. We both went our separate ways and had our separate lives. 20 years down the road, we ran into each other and found out that we both were getting divorces. One thing led to another, and we've been married for 5 years now. Couldn't be happier. Do you two ever feel like you lost out on those 20 years, or do you feel like those 20 years were worth it because they turned you into the people you are today? We occasionally let ourselves think about the what ifs, but there's nothing we can do about it, and, honestly, that's a path to madness. If we hadn't missed out on those years, there would be 4 less people in the world, our collective children, who we love dearly. We would both have liked to have our own child together, but we are both past that point now. So I guess it's more of the latter. We're looking forward to the many years we have left. She got really fat and is working on her 4th marriage. She's also a Facebook professional. I worked with a lady, she is really nice, and I'm friends with her still, but everyone on FB knew she was getting a divorce before her husband found out. She pretty much live updated the whole divorce. Nervously checking my wife's Facebook account now. Thank goodness, she still likes me, I hope. Hung herself in the woods back home. Did anyone find out what led her to kill herself? I've long moved away by then, but someone told me that she was hanging around with a drug dealing crowd and was also suffering from depression. Some say it was drugs, some say depression. I hear one rumor that she was being hugely pressured to smuggle drugs. She was hanging around. Phrasing, dude, geez. She's working for a McDonald's franchise owner of 10 stores doing payroll and customer complaints. Sometimes I call in and say my cheeseburger was cold and I'd like a refund, and she tells me to shut the hell up and don't spend too much time after work at the bar because she's making lasagna. She came home with an apology note sarcastically laced with swear words signed by the owner and a free Happy Meal voucher. She was 15, I was 16 when we met. We've never been apart since 1988, except when I was shipped out for a bit in the US Navy. Married almost 26 years now, and raised 4 awesome sons. Addition edit, this is her Saturn VF1 rocket engine for scale. All that and she still won't do shit about your cold cheeseburgers? Delete Facebook, lawyer up, you know the rest. Well, there was the Happy Meal voucher which I used. I think it came with the girl's toy / doll from the movie Frozen though. We had an on and off period for a year or so, and now she is 20 years old with her first child with someone who is 31, and here I am, sitting in my underwear, with Reddit on one screen and a Twitch stream on the other. I dodged a bullet that year, when we broke up. Plot twist, the kid is yours. Oh yeah, and I should mention I don't answer any of her calls, and that's how I keep dodging the same bullet. Does kid already know how to use a phone? Did she get those smarts from you? Honestly, I have no idea. I stop following people when we break up and proceed to lose all interest in anything involving them. Probably the most sane reply here. When you have a crush on somebody, it doesn't mean you've had to actually date them though, so there might not always be such hard feelings. And even if you did date, you can still end on good terms. I don't necessarily keep up with all my exes, but we tend to still be friendly and chat a bit if we see each other, or I at least see how they're doing on Facebook when it comes up on my feed. If you're friends on Facebook and actually scroll through your feed from time to time, you don't even have to care about them to know what they're up to. She's a drug dealer now, and she is marrying some douchebag who works at his dad's company. It's me. She's marrying me. I'm a douchebag. And her drug dealing is legal. She's a pharmacist. That was a roller coaster. Can you believe she's marrying that douchebag? Oh wait, I'm that douchebag. Go me. Got him. She's making our 2-year-old breakfast, like, right behind me. That's such a weird coincidence that you guys are near each other so early in the morning. Does this happen often? Congratulations dude. Thanks man. Sorry about that red wedding. He's really smart, and I expected him to go to an Ivy League or something. He ended up not going to college and opened his own barbershop business. It really changed my perspective on the expectation that college is necessary. He's living proof that if you have a dream or a vision and you work hard, you will be rewarded. He's now currently engaged and just opened his second barbershop. I actually reconnected with my high school crush when I was 27. We hung out every day, messed around, all the perks of dating, but he wouldn't commit. He met some other chick who obviously liked him, but swore to me they were just friends. It wrecked me, but I was stupid in love with him and kept on going the same as always. This went on for 3 years until I met someone else. He flipped out. Even though he could hang out with whoever he wanted and we were just friends, he didn't want me to date anyone. I had a very serious conversation with him where I flat out told him I would end things with new guy if he wanted to give this a serious chance, and he still couldn't commit. He wanted me to always be there for him, but wanted the freedom to do whatever. I realized how selfish he was. Our friendship ended, and I started dating new guy seriously, and now we are newly married. Last I heard he was still living at home at 37 with no job, and dated that girl he swore nothing was happening with for about 6 months, until she dumped him. Sadly, she died 2 years ago at the age of 41. Went from the blonde-haired cheerleader from a very good family, to the girl who liked to party hard in college, to the girl who liked to party even harder after college, to the girl who moved to California with a bad boy boyfriend, got tatted up, and tried even harder drugs, to the girl with a drug problem, to the girl who got clean and moved back home, to the girl who fell for a guy with similar past demons, to the girl who fell off the bandwagon, to the girl who partied one time too many, fell into a coma, and died. Was the prettiest girl in my whole school, in my opinion at least. We did a school play together in 5th grade. She sang in our church choir in middle school and used to write me notes. She used to give me rides to school in high school when I got in trouble and my dad took my car. She was the one who talked me back into playing football when I had got discouraged and wanted to quit. We went to different colleges and our paths went far away from one another, but I always kept myself in the loop of what she was up to and such. She had 2 beautiful little girls along the way that now live with her mom and dad and don't get to have mommy anymore. Breaks my heart. She was my first crush. She was my all-time crush. But she's gone. I always thought we'd end up reconnecting at least, but I never even got to say goodbye. My high school BF cheated on me with a 14-year-old while we were 18. In my parents' house I was letting him live in after he dropped out of college after 2 weeks and his mother wouldn't let him return home. That pretty much shattered me for years and years. He ended up getting a drug possession charge. He had to have surgery on both of his knees. He became extremely overweight. He was married for 11 months before getting a divorce. He lost all of his hair. I do wish him all the best, but I'd be lying if I didn't feel some sort of justice in his obvious karma. If anything, it sounds like he did you a favor.